Hi, Mom. Hi, is anything wrong? Will you tell me where we come from? What? Tell me the story of how I was made, please. Well, we're made from coconut. The tale begins in Indonesia, which is the country that produces the most coconuts in the world. Well, no one really knows where they're originally from because the seeds float so they can travel on their own. But today, Indonesia, the Philippines, and India are the greatest producers of coconuts. Each create over 10 million tons of coconuts a year. But in the United States, Hawaii and parts of Florida can produce them too. 86 countries grow coconuts. Whoa! How many are grown each year? Well, 61,965,165 were produced in 2013, and 96% of coconuts are grown by 10 million small sharecropping families on small lots. What even is a coconut? A nut? Technically, it's a fibrous one-seeded drupe, but using less formal definitions, it can be called a seed, fruit, or a nut. Okay, but how did it get the name coconut then? Explorers described the shell as a coco, which meant grinning face, like that of a monkey, because of 3 dark holes on the shell. What does a coconut look like? There are 3 layers: the outside exocarp, the inside husky mesocarp, and the thin layer of wood surrounding the meat, which is the endocarp. In the supermarket, the 2 outer layers are removed, so all you can see is the endocarp. Some coconuts that are picked immature will be green, but the more mature ones are brown and husky, which are the ones that are supposed to be picked. We were picked? Who picked us? Wait a minute, you're jumping ahead. First, the seed is planted, and it takes 9 months to sprout. The palm tree grows and will start producing fruit, coconuts, after 6 to 10 years, and then continue producing until it's 80 years old, like Grandma. A normal tree will produce 1 bunch of coconuts a month, each bunch containing 10 coconuts. So I have like 9 brothers and sisters? Not quite. Moving on, there are 2 common methods for harvesting coconuts: the pull method and the climbing method. Ooh, they both sound fun. What's the difference? For the pull method, a harvesting spear is attached to the end of a bamboo pole and used to prod the coconuts off. For the climbing method, which as you can imagine is like climbing a tree. Another way of collecting ripe coconuts is through trained monkeys to climb trees to get the coconuts. Oh, that sounds cute. Well, there are the debates that it is inhumane and harmful to monkeys, but it is the fastest method. The pull method is usually safer and more efficient than the climbing method, though. So what happens after the coconut is picked? Well, the coconuts are cut, usually the husks are sold, the water or milk is drained for selling, and the white meat is dried. You can dry copra with 3 methods: sun drying, kiln drying, or indirect drying using hot air dryers. The copra could also be made into coconut oil with wet or the dry process. The dry process uses high temperature and pressure to extract oil from copra. The wet process uses fresh coconut to fry a piece in a pan and drain the oil. Well, why do people care about coconuts anyway? They're called the jewel of the tropics because they're the most economically important palm. In fact, more than 13 million people are involved in the coconut trade, and they're sent all over the world. It's a huge source of foreign exchange. Like in smaller countries in the Pacific, the copra, which is the dried coconut kernel, is their main currency. Nutritionally, coconuts are also important because they are high fiber and contain lauric acid and electrolytes, which help your muscles. It's also important because coconut water is safe to drink in places like the developing world without treatment. Environmentally, every part of the coconut can be used, as the husk, shells, trunk, and leaves are used as energy sources. But where do I come from? Well, after the coconut meat is dried, we would be packaged and sent to the Hershey factory to be combined with almonds and chocolate to make almond joys. Wow, thanks for telling me where I come from, Mom.